Before we get too far this week, a quick update on the tarp on top of Pearl. It finally rained. In fact, we've had several showers, a few of them pretty heavy overnight and this morning. And as you can see, the tarp has apparently done its job, keeping the water on the outside of Pearl. At least it looks like it all stayed on the outside. Let's go inside and find out. I think I spy a dry floor. That discoloration's not from water. That's just stain on the floor. Same thing back here at the back. Oh look, the little bucket is dry. That means there was no leaking around this vent, which you may remember was one of the big leaky spots. It is currently covered by a piece of plastic and a piece of metal with a cinder block on top of it. It's also dry all across the back. Here again, this is one of those areas where the water pooled up and it would seep through. And I'm sure the water is still pooled up, but it's on the other side of the tarp, and that makes a big difference. And of course, the big leak spot is this hole where the air conditioner was mounted, and all around it the wooden structures are dry. There's been no seepage, no leaking, which means my tarp has done its job and it's keeping Pearl dry on the inside. This is just one test. We'll get heavier rain, we'll get worse weather, but I'm confident that we've done the right thing. And we've taken the first big step to keeping Pearl dry on the inside so we can do some more additional work on her. And speaking of additional work, next thing is going to be putting those wire supports in. I actually have something I want to try as far as attaching these wires. Okay, I want to thank Glenn, one of my guiding gnomes, for the idea here. He has steered me through several of the problems I've had on Pearl and her restoration, and I'm hoping this will work too. What we're going to take a stab at here, and it does involve stabbing of a sort. So we're going to drill in to these metal bars and put in a self-tapping screw with washer. We're going to take the wire, wrap around the screw, once, twice probably, 1.5 times, something like that. Anyway, get it nice and secured, and then tighten it down. Okay, and hopefully that will give us enough tension support to hold that wire in place. Now we do that on one end. We go to the other end and do the same thing, except we pull that wire just as tight as we possibly can, which is not going to be real tight. But whenever we come back and start putting our wooden braces in that are pushing the roof up, that is going to increase the tension by pushing those bars up and tightening that wire up. And the hope is that that will tension up the wire firm enough that it'll make a difference as far as offering added support to the bottom side of the metal roof. I hope all that makes sense to you. I'm not real sure it makes sense to me, but hey, we're going to try it and see what happens. And the first thing we have to do before we actually start working with this wire I've already pulled is to get the hydraulic jack and remove this 1 2x4 support that I have across so that we get all of the tension off of the roof. So, step 1. Now that we have that taken care of, we should have freedom to move this roof line up and down as necessary in order to thread our wire and pull it tight. Let's see what we can do. Now the process is going to involve drilling a pilot hole into this metal bar so that we can start the self-tapping screw. Self-tapping screws work pretty good if you're tapping into wood or plastic or PVC or something like that. Going into steel, not so good. Maybe I could have gotten a self-drilling screw. Yeah, that is a thing. I've never used them though. I've always used self-tapping, and you just put a pilot hole in first and you don't have a problem. So that's what we're going to do here today. And although I was getting ready to start here, this is on the front, I actually think I might fasten the back of this wire first. And the reason being is simple. This end of the wire has not been cut. It's still going down to the spool here, and we've still got, I don't know, a couple of 100 feet of wire here connected to it. The other end is already an end, so I can get it wrapped around and started on that end and then pull forward before I actually cut this wire to length. So I think starting back there is the logical thing to do. Well, that's got it attached. Now let's see if we can get this wire as straight as possible going all the way to the other end. That may be easier said than done. Okay, that's not perfectly straight, but under the circumstances, it's about as straight as I can get it. Now, come back up to this end and try to pull it as tight as possible and fasten it down. First thing though is going to be get our hole drilled on this beam and get the screw in place. Can't pull this wire very tight, so I'm really hoping that whenever we put those wooden braces back in and push the ceiling up, it is going to add some tension. I'm going to wrap this as tightly as I can and we'll see what happens. Okay, there's one. Well, that didn't work. Well, maybe that one will hold. But overall, that wire is not pulled as tight as the first one. So there may be problems with this procedure, and we're going to have to do a few more and find out. But I don't think I'll be doing those right now because my drill battery just decided to die. So I don't have a spare. That means I got to charge the one I have. And that means that I guess it's a pretty good stopping point for today. We have 2 wires up in our ceiling support system. I'm still not convinced it's going to work like I want it to, but I still think it's better than nothing. Okay. Be sure and take my dead battery inside. So let's see where that leaves us now. 2 wires pulled front to back, attached fairly securely. I think it could be better. And definitely not tensioned as well as they could be. You may remember last week, where are they? Here they are. I showed you, I bought a whole package of wire fasteners. These would allow me to loop the wire through something and then crimp it down so that it attaches. The idea being, I might want to get some turnbuckles and put in those wires. That would allow me to tension them up much tighter than I can ever pull them and wrap them around the screw and tighten it down. So that is still an option for future consideration. I'm going to put up a few more of these wire runs here over the next day or 2 or 3, and we'll see how they do. Overall, once we get a number on, there's going to be, I'm estimating 5 or 6 per section, at least here in the middle, going across. There's going to have to be, because they can't be much more than 4 inches apart in order to do any good. So anyway, I will get a few more up, and then maybe we'll put our brace beam back in and see if that makes any difference in the tensioning. There's just a lot of variables here that are going to have to be considered. And by the time we get back together next week, I will have some more up, and I will have some more information, and perhaps we'll have a bit more of a direction to go in. The point is, we're doing something, and that's got me feeling good right there. We're actually onto this project. We're working on it. I knew it wasn't going to be done in a day's time. It may be several weeks, and therefore several of these programs before we actually get this done. And certainly it's going to be that long before we get all the wooden beams up and everything else. So we're set for quite a few of the next programs concerning Pearl's roof, and maybe a few side projects in between. We'll just have to see how things go, okay? But for today, wait a minute. I got faces full of stuff off of the ceiling from pulling that wire through. I mean, rust, insulation, everything else. My glasses caught some of it. My eyes caught the rest. I think I got my ears full. There's no telling what. Oh, it's on my headband, my hair. So, yeah, first thing I do when I finish up here is go inside and get a good shower, get all this rust and stuff off of me. But in the meantime, let me take a moment to thank you for bearing with me through this experimental phase as we kind of feel our way along with this project and adjust it as we go. That's the way it's always been working on Pearl, and I don't see that changing in the near future. Your comments are always welcome, and please let me know what you think. Think about this plan, this faceting idea that I got from Glenn. I think it's a good idea. I'm just kind of worried about tensioning the wires. We'll just have to see how that works out. If you've got an idea about that, comment. Let me know, okay? I appreciate it. If you think I'm doing great, I could certainly use the boost, okay? Just a little smiley and a thumbs up. Oh, speaking of thumbs ups, let's do a like on this video. Let YouTube know you watched it and you enjoyed it, assuming, of course, that you did. And they'll spread the word to others about the MT and me. Share the video yourself with your friends or anyone you think might be interested. And, of course, subscribe to the channel, please, if you have not already. I think we're at 167 subscribers last I looked. We're just kind of setting our goals. The next would be 200, so let's get to 200 and we'll go from there. One of these days, we're going to be shooting for 1,000. And with your help, that may not be too far away. I used to think that was an impossible goal. Every time I pick up a new subscriber, though, I think it's a little closer. Know what I mean? So, help me out. Subscribe if you haven't. And watch us every Sunday here on YouTube for the MT and Me. Links below to buy me a coffee. Go to the mtandme.com. Go to our Facebook page. And credits to all the music we use in the program as well. Thank you so much for watching each and every week. I love you, my nomies. I'm Russ. I'm going to go charge a battery and get a shower. Not necessarily in that order. And we will talk later. Bye for now.